This is the brand spanking new Schuberth Concept, and it has a feature that makes it a world first. When a brand claims a world's first, I'm usually a little bit skeptical because it's normally just a small feature which in the grand scheme of things isn't necessarily that important. But in Schuberth's case it is different because this is a helmet that carries a feature that will appear on more and more helmets over time. Because this helmet has the ECE 2206 UA certification, with the UA standing for Universal Accessory. This rating is issued for helmets which are tested with a simulator attached. The simulators are designed to check that the performance of the helmet, that's impact performance, friction and rotational forces or shearing, is not degraded when an accessory is fitted to it. And of course there are specific requirements for this certification. There must be specific mounting points with clear markings positioned a minimum of 30mm away from impact zones. The internal speaker cutout must be a minimum of 41mm in diameter and 8mm in depth. And the helmet also needs to be prepared for speaker and microphone wiring. There are pages and pages of data and specifics relating to this particular certification, but for the purposes of this video I'm going to keep it to those basic premises. Why is it important? Well, firstly, it gives the consumer the knowledge that the particular helmet that they're buying has been tested and is certified for use with an intercom system. Secondly, there are currently no rules around the fitment of intercoms to helmets, although I suspect potentially there may be some country by country limitations around the globe. But now that this UA is part of the 2206 certification, perhaps this may be legislated in future years. I can see the law and certainly insurance companies being interested in this development, and it could go as far as the use of intercoms fitted to non-UA helmets becoming illegal. Now, of course, I don't see this happening overnight, and it's difficult to see how it would be policed, but certainly from an insurance company's perspective, I could see them asking questions about kit that was used in the case of a serious accident. I would be interested to hear your thoughts on this topic in the comments section. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight, but the more helmets that are put through this 2206 UA certification, the more I think that the law and insurance companies will be acting upon that. But at the end of the day, this is a helmet review, so let's put all of that to one side and talk about the helmet itself. Although the concept looks like and indeed shares many of the features of Schuberth's C5, this is a completely new shell. It's manufactured from fiberglass and surprisingly only has two shell sizes to cover the size extra small to 3XL. Having spoken to quite a few helmet manufacturers, they've told me that size large is the most common size of helmet out there, and in this case that means this is the largest size in the smallest shell. So that means that if you are a large, you've got a pretty compact lid. This new shell does have a slightly different shape and fit, not so much that it won't work for existing Schuberth wearers, but enough that it will make a difference and make it more accessible to more people. I for one could never get the C5 to fit me particularly well, despite their best efforts. It was just too round. However, the concept is a different kettle of fish and I get a better fit straight out of the box. It's still a little bit snug around the front, but nothing that creates me pain or discomfort, which for me is a first with this particular brand. The lining is customizable just like the C5, and like that lid, the visor and drop down shade are both class 1 optics. For the UA certification, there is a dedicated wiring slot in the base of the helmet, as well as wiring routing for the speakers and the microphone. And the side of the shell is flat to enable the use of sticky pads for intercom mounting. Outside of that, the features are pretty much the same as the C5, so the important question is how does it perform out on the bike and why should you consider one? I've spent as much time as I could riding in this helmet before bringing you this video, and I'll be honest and say that it's been an enjoyable experience. The fit for people with intermediate to long oval head shapes is better. Subsequently, there is more room in the chin, although not massively, but I can open and close it without any trouble. Vision is excellent and the clarity of the visor and drop down sunshade is first class, even with the Pinlock 70, which comes pre-fitted from the factory. Incidentally, the helmet uses the same visor as the C5, so there are already plenty of options out there in terms of different tints available for you to use. The operation of the drop down shade is slick and easy, but I'd like it to come a little bit lower. It's not a problem, but after riding in the Nolan X903 helmet, I've been a little bit spoilt when it comes to sunshade cover. Despite looking small, the vents are effective, particularly the top, and overall the level of ventilation is good. You get a nice flow through the chin vent without blowing in your eyes. It's a comfortable helmet to wear and it manages noise well. Now I've got my usual caveats around how well the helmet fits you, what bike you're riding, has it got a screen, what clothing you're riding, all that sort of stuff. But in general terms, I would classify this as a quiet helmet. It's also not too shabby on the scales, with this helmet in a size large weighing in on my scales at home at 1,615 grams, ready to ride. So apart from the UA certification, what else is notable about the new Schuberth Concept helmet? Well, for me the standout is the price. This helmet in plain colours retails at £399.99 and £469.99 for the graphic versions. If you compare this to the equivalent C5 in silver, this helmet is £140 cheaper. The helmet's made from the same materials and it has pretty much the same features. The only thing this doesn't have is the pre-preparation for a comms unit that you get in the C5, but you don't need that. You can just fit the comms unit that you've already got, and if you haven't already got one, you've got a much wider choice of what one you go for, rather than just being stuck with the Schuberth offering for an integrated system. So at the moment the UA certification doesn't really have any impact in the real world, but it will be interesting to see how that develops going forward. If you put that UA certification aside, this is still a very good modular helmet with a price and a fit that makes it accessible to more people, and that can surely only be a good thing. So I hope you found my first impressions of this helmet useful. As I say, I've been riding it as much as I can, but I'm going to continue to ride it over a longer period of time to see how it holds up over many miles and been riding in all sorts of weather conditions. So keep an eye out on the channel for a further update on this. If you've got any questions, then let me know in the comment section down below. If you want to discuss the UA rating and what that could mean for helmets and communications suppliers, and I think that is probably a positive for those guys, then again let me know in the comment section down below. And all that leaves me to say is until next time, thanks for watching, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.